Hey guys, it's Sandeep from RevAtlas and welcome back to yet another video. The Vivo X50 Pro was a smartphone that took us by surprise with its photography abilities. I was actually looking at the specifications of both the X50 Pro and X50 and found that the X50 itself looked solid, especially hardware-wise, and you get a dedicated macro camera instead of the periscope telephoto, and I had read and heard great things about that in the videos and articles from others. So I felt that the X50 might provide great value for money in terms of cameras, and I asked Vivo if they could send me one for testing, and here are my thoughts after testing it out. In terms of hardware, you get a quad camera setup on the X50. The primary camera is a custom 48MP Sony IMX598 with f1.6 aperture and optical image stabilization. You also get an 8MP super wide angle camera as well as a 13MP 2x telephoto camera, and lastly a 5MP macro camera. Now during daytime shots, the X50 remains practically identical to the X50 Pro with great dynamic range, good white balance in colors as well as high detail and sharpness. Putting the images side by side is not really easy to tell them apart, and the only real way to know which is from the watermark itself. Low-light performance is downright impressive and carries over the same strengths that made the Pro variant also great. At a glance, these shots look identical apart from the watermark, and to be honest, that's what most people look for. But when you pixel peep, you will see the benefits of the gimbal OIS, giving the X50 Pro an advantage when it comes to a sharpness that is better than the X50. Still, the X50 exceeds the abilities of most flagships even, and also do note that it was quite windy and raining heavily when capturing this photo. The OIS works very well and only comes in second to the gimbal OIS on the Pro variant. I was quite pleased with the images, and I did a random tweet to see just what people would say as an answer, and most of the responses I got involved iPhones, Pixels, OnePlus flagships, and all of which cost roughly 2x or more than the X50. The several style and tones that you can use in the night mode also give a great vibe to the overall image, and in this case the teal and orange filter, which Vivo calls green and orange, also gives a very Blade Runner-esque look in my opinion, and I'm quite happy with the results so far. It's also worth mentioning that the night mode filters can also be used in daytime for some unique looks, and these effects can of course be created manually using Photoshop or advanced editing tools. But the point here is that the X50 helps you take such shots even without having such knowledge as a prerequisite. Apart from the night mode and low light capabilities, what really blew me away was the macro abilities on this phone. When you choose the macro option in the photo mode, it makes use of the ultra wide angle camera and captures great looking photos. The focus is quick and overall quality of photos is something that hardly any phone can match, but if you want to go even closer, you can make use of the fixed macro mode, which makes use of the dedicated 5MP macro sensor and takes shots from even closer, as close as 1.5 centimeters to be exact, and no other phone gets quite as close either. Overall, I love using the X50 Pro. Like I said in my camera review, it's one of the best camera phones on the market when it comes to its photography abilities, but the asking price might put it a bit out of reach for some. That's where the X50 comes in. After testing it, I can safely say that they have indeed managed to create another photography champion that can provide the best macros on any phone. In fact, better than the X50 Pro in some cases, and also match or give 95% of the output that the X50 Pro can give at 70% of the cost. That's it for this video guys. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next one, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button.